Good evening. You're watching a brand new week of Left, Right and Centre. There's a lot on the show tonight. I'm Nidhi Razdan. First, there was Trilokpuri. Now there is Bawana. Communal tensions are simmering in the national capital. We're asking whether there's a deliberate design to create a communal divide. Also, as right-wing groups go after those who organized the kiss-off protest in Kerala, do we all need to stand up much more strongly to the moral police? And this evening, an exclusive interview with the CPM Sitaram Yechury. Days after his differences with Prakash Karat became public, Mr. Yechury admits to differing views in the party and admits that the BJP is gaining ground in West Bengal. All that and more coming up in the next 60 minutes. But first, there is communal tension in Delhi's Bawana area where a Mahapanchayat was organized on Sunday that says they will not allow a Muharram procession to take place through a particular route. In fact, a BJP MLA and a Congress councillor were also seen lending their support to this controversial Mahapanchayat. Sonal Mehrotra's been there all day and joins us now with the very latest. Sonal, tomorrow is Muharram and I believe that there is a lot of extra security there this evening. What's it like?
Nidhi, I'm coming to you from the main crossroad wherein the procession has been coming out for the past 10 years, but this time around they have the Mahapanchayat has taken a decision not to let that happen. And if you can see scenes here, some people around this area, but we see cops in good amount with helmets, batons and shields in hand in almost every corner of Bawana as we move in, trying to ensure that no kind of communal flare-up happens. Now what's been happening is yesterday, after the Mahapanchayat decided that they will not be allowing this, there were several inflammatory speeches made. Very interestingly, while these speeches were being made, the BJP MLA of the area was also present. Along with him was also seen the Congress councillor, who both went on to say that that this is the right decision and that the procession should not be allowed. What's interesting is the Mahapanchayat took place yesterday. However, the JJ colony people had already decided that the procession would be restricted within the colony after there was huge pressure from the majority community here. Now, despite that, the Mahapanchayat took place, they decided what they did, and that is keeping the police on their toes to ensure that there is no communal flare-up from now on. I'm joined by some people here. I just want to quickly understand from you, sir, आपकी दुकान है यहाँ पर. आपने यहाँ बताया कि जो प्रोसेशन निकलता है उसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम होती है. क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
मैडम ये है ना कि कई बार पुलिस से भी मिले इसके बारे में, पहले भी निकलता था ये, तो इन लोगों ने काफ़ी परेशानी खड़ी कर रखी थी. 3-3, 4-4 घंटे जाम लगाना, हुल्लड़ मचाना, इनकी आदतें खराब हो चुकी थी, आग भगाते थे. ठीक है, ऐसे ही परेशानी.
Those are the issues, Nidhi, really from this area. But is this really enough to hear the kind of speeches that we heard at Mahapanchayat? We leave it for the viewers to decide.
All right, Sonal reporting there, the latest from Bawana on the ground. Obviously, it's going to be a tense day tomorrow as Muharram does take place. The question is, why are we seeing these communal flare-ups at this particular time in the national capital? Is there a deliberate design or are we reading more into this than we should be? Joining us tonight, Mr. Rashmikant, spokesperson of the Congress party, Kavita Krishnan, well-known activist and Politburo member of the CPIML. Also, Ashish Khaitan joins us from AAP, and we'll be joined shortly by the BJP spokesperson Sanjay Kaul as well as Maxwell Pereira. Let me take this to Kavita first. Kavita, give us a sense of the history of this place. For all these years, this Muharram procession has taken place and there's never been a problem.
Absolutely, and not just in this place. You see, the communal propaganda there, the leaflets and the speeches made, presented the Tazia procession as though it is an armed show of strength by the minority community. It is not. It is a mourning procession by the Shia community. And in fact, we have shining instances like the Tazia in Banaras being led by Bismillah Khan Shehnai, who used to also play inside the Vishwanath Mandir. Okay, so actually the Tazia procession has never ever been projected as being a sort of show of strength against the other community. All the weapons there which are there are actually used to self-flagellate. People self-flagellate themselves in the procession, and there has never been violence here. This is a very deliberate thing. See, first they did it at the occasion of Eid in Bawana, and then the occasion of Diwali became the other flashpoint on which tension was engineered, and then now we are having it on Muharram. So there is a very much a design. You asked if there is a design. There is a design here. It's the old story that you have in Gorakh Pandey's poem that says, "इस बार दंगा बहुत बड़ा था, खूब हुई थी खून की बारिश, अगले साल अच्छी फसल होगी मतदान की."
Okay, so you're saying it's clearly deliberate. Let me take that to Sanjay Kaul, the spokesperson of the BJP, who joins us as well. Sanjay, You know, it's not just the BJP. There is a BJP MLA who openly lent his support to this Mahapanchayat. So did a Congress councillor. We've just shown both of them on screen. Why are political parties getting involved in this? Shouldn't your MLAs and the Congress's councillors be dissociating themselves? In fact, coming out and saying, no, don't hold these kind of Mahapanchayats. Let's come together and have peace. Instead, they're supporting it.
No, I mean, it's a very noble idea what you're suggesting. But I think you do have to understand that we are in the shadow of the Trilokpuri riots. Also, it's completely unfair to compare these as an incident of riot. There hasn't been any riot in Bawana. In fact, the whole idea is that there shouldn't be any more of such riots. Now, if communities get together and sort of have some sort of an arrangement for whatever reason, I'm not getting to the merits of the case and the larger issues and the moral factors playing here. But I'm saying it's a very simple case of trying to avoid any flare-up, then I think that should be supported. That's maturity. It is not about not allowing them or letting them. It's all about tempers.
But how are you avoiding a flare-up if your legislator is at the Mahapanchayat that does not want this Muharram procession to take place through a particular route? How does that help? You're all responsible legislators. You shouldn't be there. Or you should at least try to douse the fire.
Let me give you an example. In the Trilokpuri riots, it was a very strange situation when the ruling, the MLA in office tried to pass off palm of blame to the BJP ex-MLA for playing a role when he had actually nothing to do with that.
No, was your MLA, Mr. Bhugan Singh, not there?
Hang on.
Was he not there? We have pictures of him. There are sound bites of him. So, I mean, you can't say he wasn't there.
He's talking.
I'm trying to, obviously I'm not making myself clear. I'm trying to suggest to you that in the case of the Trilokpuri riots, a former MLA of the BJP was dragged in to the controversy when he had no role to play.
Yes, but I'm talking about a current MLA, in the Bawana case.
And this is what I am trying, hear me out. And this sitting MLA of Trilokpuri had no role to play at all in either helping people or stopping that. And so here is an MLA who is actually acting proactively, and you have a problem with that?
I do, because this is what he said, Sanjay. He said that Muslims can do whatever they want in their houses, but they have no right to disturb others. I congratulate the youth from the area for taking up this cause to stop this Muharram procession and support you. This is what he said to a congregation that he addressed, which is on tape, on camera, made in front of a lot of people, including the media. So he wasn't exactly trying to bring temperatures down, Sanjay.
Let me put it like this. The temperatures will be brought down in the context of what has happened in Trilokpuri by not pushing this case too much. What he said, what he did not say, you have absolute complete right to discuss that. But that is not the purpose of what I think the procession was amicably settled, would not be taken. And I think your correspondent herself said that the agreement was forged way before the Mahapanchayat was called. So I can understand all that, but my point is, do you have a problem with people trying to avoid a flare-up?
But are you trying to, okay, Kavita wants to come in. This doesn't sound like anyone's trying to avoid any flare-up.
This is absolutely ridiculous. You see, the point is that the flare-up had already been avoided because the minority community had already agreed on the 28th of October in a meeting in the police's presence to curtail the route of the Tazia procession. So the route of the Tazia procession was nowhere in discussion or debate. The point is the Mahapanchayat was called as a deliberately provocative with no reason. To say that it was to calm down tempers is ridiculous, because in speech after speech they said this: we are the Mool Nivasi of this country, we the Hindus, the country belongs to us, and the Muslims are here on our sufferance, our tolerance, and we've stopped being tolerant, and it's time to do worse. This was said in the presence of the BJP MLA. This was said in presence of the police.
So
and my question,
why have the Mahapanchayat at all?
Absolutely, and my question is not just to the BJP. My question is to the police, because we look to our institutions. I want to know, why did the police not make arrests based on those speeches?
About that and the police's role. Ashish Khaitan wants to come in, and then I'll come to Mr. Rashmikant. Yes, Ashish.
Yeah, see what is happening. We are a diverse country, and there are religious pluralities, and there are different ethnic groups, different communities living together, and we all celebrate our festivals, we take out processions. And the route of these processions and the way these festivals are going to be celebrated, the designated place for Visarjan or for anything else, are decided by the district administration after taking in due consideration law and order, traffic, movement of people, movement of vehicles, and so on. It is not the job of BJP or any other political party to take the job of the local police and the district administration in its hands. That's one. Two, what is happening? Every small dispute or every small disagreement over loudspeaker outside a mosque or a temple, over a Mata ki Chauki, every small brawl which can be between a few drunkards, which we saw in the case of Trilokpuri, is turned into a communal flagration, is turned into a communal incident. And that we saw in Trilokpuri, and that's what we are seeing in Bawana. Now what we are seeing is the strategy of low intensity conflagration, low intensity tension, low intensity riots, where a few shops would be burned, a few people would be injured, but things would not be allowed to completely go out of control like they did in Muzaffarnagar or Gujarat. Because this simmering tension leads to votes, leads to communal polarization, leads to division of votes, and leads rich dividends to parties like BJP. That's why you saw the role of the ex-MLA in Trilokpuri and sitting MLA here in the case of Bawana. And what was the BJP, what was the Congress councillor doing?
That is exactly my question to Mr. Rashmikant, which is that you had the Congress councillor there also.
What was Congress councillor doing?
Why was the Congress councillor there at the Mahapanchayat?
I will answer your question, Nidhi, in a very straightforward manner, that action will be taken against the Congress councillor for being there at the Mahapanchayat where he should not have been, because it was a divisive rally. It was a divisive get-together. It is against the complete stated followed policy of the Congress, and I assure you that action will be taken by the Congress party against the
He should have been
councillor.
suspended by now.
Let me complete. Ashish, you must have some
Action
patience.
should have
You are
been
not
taken
the
by
only
now.
man you are not the only person who is allowed to speak. Please,
So
I listen to you.
You're saying he will be, he will have action taken against
Absolutely.
him soon.
Now, I said action taken and hopefully soon,
Okay.
since you added the word soon. But let me complete. The BJP has said nothing like this. And this is in the context when just 2 days ago they've announced that they want to be the largest single party in India, that they will have online membership. They are talking about unity in diversity, the same things that Congress talked about. They are talking about the fact that people of all sects and faiths should become members of the BJP. And so what are you going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow, if you have Dussehra celebrations, and if you have Dussehra celebrations in a locality which is primarily held by Muslims, and Muslims celebrate Dussehra, and Jains and Sikhs, and etc., etc. So what are you going to say? That your festival, which was part of the history of your festival, civilization is an evolving process. You are not allowed to celebrate Dussehra? This is the first time that the Prime Minister of India, after independence, is not given a message on Eid. Can there be something more disparaging than this? So the paradox that you see, the duplicity that you see in what the BJP sees, at one level, the gentleman, Mr. Kaul, the BJP representative, is saying don't make issues of Trilokpuri.
But the
yes,
point
we
is,
don't
look, if you're serious about action being taken against your councillor, that action has to be soon and it has to be strict. Because otherwise it's pointless to sit here and say,
I agree.
and if something happens to him 6 months later, or people forget,
Nidhi,
because your party is also then playing with fire.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I am telling you that the Congress is going to take action, and the action will be soon, because this is against the stated practice policy of the Congress for 130 years.
Okay, I'll let Sanjay
Right.
Kaul respond to that in just a moment. Let me get Maxwell Pereira in here.
And
because
one more point,
No,
let me
just,
this is related to Maxwell Pereira. That the
On the
job
police.
of ensuring that things like Bawana do not happen is actually the job of the police and the civic authorities. Now the police and the law enforcement authorities today are under the center, which is governed by the BJP, and the central government and all other administrative machinery is controlled by the BJP.
Okay, so let me ask
if they
Mr.
do
Pereira,
not take action, the police, the BJP government shall be held solely responsible for it, and no one else.
Before I get Sanjay Kaul to respond to that, Maxwell Pereira, do you believe that the police has played an exemplary role or a not so exemplary role in all of this, from Trilokpuri to Bawana? Because there were question marks raised about why prohibitory orders, for instance, weren't put in place earlier when it came to Trilokpuri. Here also questions are being raised about why this is happening, and ultimately the buck will stop with the cops.
Why no preventive action?
Nidhi, to start with, the police doesn't want any public conflagration, any clash between two communities, and will do its homework in the form of meetings or whatever between the communities before an event. All events are listed in the police diary, and they do have a preventive mechanism in place. That is a normal case. If that has not been done, I'm sure the senior officers in the department will, examine that aspect. But again, I mention that every police station, every area has its what you call the peace committee, the meeting of elders of the community, the leaders of the community, keeping the politicians out. Because it's when the politician comes in, then the trouble comes in.
Why was the Mahapanchayat
because
allowed,
each
sir?
one doesn't
Do you
want
think
to
the
give in.
Mahapanchayat should have been allowed at all to have been held?
Exactly.
I'm not here to tell you what, why this was done or that was done. There is the police department too.
No.
I've left the police 10 years ago.
No, I know, but
I'm
from
just
your
giving
experience,
you
sir,
an
shouldn't the
aspect.
police have stopped it
I
from
will
happening?
not answer for the police.
No, but I mean, in your
No,
experience, would
if
you
in their-
have not expected them to
if in
prevent
their-
such a controversial Mahapanchayat from
If
taking
a-
Very
place?
specific question here.
And Kavita has a
If a
question.
Mahapanchayat,
I have a very, very specific
I
question.
would not, if I was there, perhaps I would have gone into these details and seen to it that there is no Mahapanchayat held.